Hey everyone, it is Kirsten here at Katie's House Foundation, and I've got Julie on with us. Julie, how are you?
Good. Excited to be live here. How is everybody doing?
Yeah, this is our first live for everyone who's tuning in right now. And the reason that we're doing this is because in future, we want to be able to answer people's questions. And we have people who email us throughout the week, or they drop us messages on Facebook or text. And we thought that it would be beneficial to answer questions for everyone in a live environment. That way, everyone can get those answers kind of on the fly. So if you guys have any questions, you can always drop them in the chat, and then we will see those and we will respond in real time, first come, first serve. And in future, we actually are going to be doing probably some live webinars related to shared housing at large. And you guys might notice that things are getting a little bit wider here with regard to pulling in a pad split model for people that are moving up within the foundation. And so what that means is the residents who are not on government paid grants and they actually have a job, they would be looking to probably move up into a pad split. So anyway, there's a lot of things going on at the foundation, and we are excited to be talking today about a $10,000 grant application that most businesses can apply for. And so that means even though we, of course, encourage people to have a nonprofit because there are benefits to that, if your attorney or, we can refer you to some of the attorneys that we use to see if that's a good fit for you. You can talk with them. But anyway, if you have an LLC or if you are looking to start a business, this is a good way to go about that right now. So, Julie, have you ever heard of this Action Opportunity Fund?
I have not. So how do I qualify?
All right, let's talk about that. What I like about this is that it's super easy and fast to apply. We're going to drop this link here on the video so you guys can have that. We'll also put it on our Facebook page. So make sure you guys head over there and just go to Facebook. Katie's House Foundation official is what it is. And once you come here, you can just click apply now. And I've actually already applied for this in previous years. And all you need is a company that has been in business for a few months. Right now it's 3 months, and a bank account essentially. And that's it. It's the easiest application. And I just want you guys to see right now, this is where you would click the apply tab. This offer ends on Friday, September 13th at 2020 or 2024 at 5. So if you don't have a business set up yet, you can set one up and then go ahead and still apply for this because you obviously have 3 months to go. Now, I do want to...
Usually with a grant, you have to use the money for something. So what am I limited, or am I required to do something if I do win the grant?
I didn't see any limitations in past years. I haven't done the application yet for this year, and I'm going to do that. We have a couple different entities. And so I didn't see any limitations other than being used for business purpose. So this means you can't just apply and then pay yourself $10,000. Let's go through right now some of these, how it works. And essentially, this is brought to everyone by LegalZoom, the NBA, the Women's NBA, and NBA G League. And they're encouraging entrepreneurship, essentially. So that doesn't, again, you don't have to be a nonprofit. You could be living in one of the shared houses or even a shelter, or you could be someone who's running an active business. And 150 businesses will get $10,000. This is the easiest grant I have ever seen, which is why we're talking about it.
Okay.
And if you don't get the money, they'll actually, a lot of people, 3,000 emerging entrepreneurs who haven't yet launched their business will receive a LegalZoom product of their choosing valued at $500. Personally, I know when I first got started having businesses, I used LegalZoom, and I do actually like their services. we don't get a referral or anything for that. Just letting you guys know, we're not getting compensated for this video in any way. But I think that's good. $500 will get you started.
Well, $500 would help with all your legal documents to get those correctly filled out. So
yeah, it costs $600 to set up an LLC. So at least it covers the majority of it. At least through LegalZoom. If you go through an attorney, normally in my experience, it could range from $1,200 to $3,000. So it's definitely less expensive at $600. And, it's just kind of like a cookie cutter approach. All the documents are the same.
Okay.
So right now you guys can apply, and then again, it closes in September, and eligible existing small businesses applying for 10 grand must be based in the United States, have been in business for at least 3 months, and currently in operation, have an annual revenue less than $1 million. You have to have an active bank account, not be in an industry that has been identified as ineligible for this program. And so when you click this here, you're going to see generally this is going to be, if you're in the adult entertainment, so the porn business, or firearms, if you're in something marijuana related, anything illegal, gambling. Something that's important to everyone probably listening here is real estate investments. So if you're a house flipper, you do hotels, businesses whose principal source of revenue is rental income. Now, what's really interesting about this is when you have a nonprofit and an LLC, we've talked about this before, the nonprofit is actually operating a business, right? A charity. And so it's renting homes from the LLC. And in that case, a nonprofit is advantageous because it wouldn't be excluded by this, because the nonprofit is not actually, its source.
It's just part of your business expense as to be renting a space. Is that correct then?
So I mean, let's say that you have ABC LLC owns the real estate, and ABC LLC rents that house to the nonprofit. And so the nonprofit is basically running a charity and paying rent of, let's say, $2,000 a month to the LLC. So your nonprofit in that case could apply for this grant because its primary source of income is not rental income. It's normally the primary source of income is actually grants and donations. Yeah. And maybe they might sell some. Yeah, it's not rental income. The LLC's primary source of income is rental income or fixing and flipping or land development or something.
Okay. So that list is a little long, but not exclusive to just, anything. That's kind of a broad sweep then that a lot of people could apply for this.
Well, yeah, it's just saying if you are an investor, they're not trying to help you buy more properties necessarily. They're trying to help you run a business. And of course, they want it to be a legal business. And so you just take a quick look here. These are all the exclusions. And let's go back to if you've been in business for more than 12 months, you do need to provide your most recent business tax return. So you should have had those done. This week was the personal tax return deadline. So if you had a single member LLC, you would have had that done in your 1040s. If you had any other type of corporation or partnership, you would have had it done probably by, March 15th. So you should have those tax returns ready. Maybe they're on extension. I'm not sure how they're going to treat that in the grant, but basically what they're saying is that if you've been in business for between 3 and 12 months, you don't have to have a recent business tax return, but you do need to prove that you're a business by having your articles of incorporation or sole proprietorship information, your DBA, right? If you have a fictitious business name. Basically, they just want to verify that you are a business and you're not trying to just pay yourself $10,000. You're getting $10,000 very easy. I'll tell you guys, you literally put in the name of the company, your EIN number, how long you've been in operation, and your bank account number, and that's it. And then you upload the documents and they wire you $10,000.
Okay. Do you know anybody that's ever gotten this grant? Or, I mean, I know you've applied for several grants through either the nonprofit or some LLCs that you've owned. How have you heard about this one, and what do you think the success rate is? I think you said in the beginning they're going to give away how many $10,000 grants?
It's 150 small businesses will receive the $10,000.
That's a fair amount. That's a fair amount. Okay.
And then 3,000 emerging entrepreneurs who haven't yet launched their intended business will receive a LegalZoom product. So to answer your question, I actually did not get approved for the grant when I previously applied for it because our company hadn't been in business long enough to get the $10,000. Okay. I personally don't know of anyone else who's applied for this grant, but I would love to hear from anyone. In fact, let's look. Let's see if we have any questions. We don't have any questions.
I think I have some people I'm going to pass this on to see what happens. I mean, it can't hurt. I mean, I know they've already been in business for long enough. They've obviously got their taxes done. So if all it is uploading the documents, attaching it with just the limited information that you're giving, it's worth a try.
Yeah. And that's what we're talking about right now is people find grants to be sometimes difficult because you have to write an essay or a large business plan. And I know when I did this grant application, it just was so easy that I thought, why aren't more people applying for this? You know, and this was in a different year. So now we'll come back around to this. Of course, we will apply for it for Katie's House Foundation and for Shelter Registry and even the Normalized Money Project, DBA, Broken to Blessed. So we have a couple different companies that will apply, and I'll be curious to see out of those three, it'll take half an hour if any of them get approved.
Okay.
And let's see anything else here. You know, it just goes over the FAQs, etc.
So from what you're seeing and from what you read from previous years, it's not limiting you to use it for advertising purposes. It's not limiting you to use it for some type of, you know, outreach or something in particular that you're trying to stay within their guidelines.
No, I didn't see anything like that. You know, some of them do have requirements, but this is, here's $10,000, use it for your business. Now, keep in mind, whenever you apply for a grant, they can always audit you. It was the same thing with the, you know, the loan, some of the business loans that they have. So just keep in mind, they can always come back and say, give us your bank statement so we can see, because we dropped that, we wired you the 10 grand and we can see within 30 or 60 days, probably where that money went pretty easily on a bank statement.
Okay.
And to your point, I don't recall, and we can always, you know, on our next live, I'll let you guys know if anything changed for this year. And do you have any questions, Julie?
No, I was just going to say, I could think right away, I would use it to try to better my website and pay somebody to do better, you know, graphics and make my website work better and do things like that. So I can totally see that this would be something that I'm glad that they're not putting any kind of restrictions on what you can use the money for, because that would give a whole lot of people options to try to use the money for what they are lacking in at the time to try to get their business to the next level.
Yeah. And I like that it does talk about what if you don't have a business license right here. So if you have been in business between 3 and 12 months and do not have either recent business taxes, articles of incorporation, you know, et cetera, then you are not ineligible for this opportunity. So one of the things, of course, is to always just read through this, because if you're going to take the time to apply, you might as well take the 10 minutes to read through and make sure that you apply and have the best shot. So follow the rules, answer the questions appropriately, give them the documents that they need the first time. A lot of people simply throw things in and then they get declined and they're frustrated for that. Don't do that. That's one of the big things that we talk about just in general. Julie, you being a police officer, me being in finance and running businesses and things, being an auditor, right? What do they always say? Follow the rules kind of a thing, because otherwise you're wasting your time.
It's just a lot smoother, right? I mean, if you read through there and you see that these things are going to be required, and even if you think about it on especially like a police application, if you don't answer one question correctly, that just eliminates you immediately for could it be the smallest thing, answering one little simple thing with a check mark or something that can get you eliminated. Really, I know we'd say it's kind of a waste of time, but it just makes more frustration for everybody. So yeah, just take the time to read through there, see what their, rules and regulations are, what the requirements are. And it, like you said, the other ones are I was looking at an application for a grant that had we've been talking a lot about, affordable housing. Well, this happened to be affordable housing grant, and it was for money to be able to take an existing building, put some money into it and make it low income. And it was so difficult. And there were so many things that you had to do for each particular thing, from the contractor down to just the little tiny, what are your plans? How is this going to work? What's the timeline? That seems very, very easy compared to what I've seen before.
And, one thing that I just saw here for this year is that this opportunity is only open to current and future business owners. So basically nonprofits are not eligible to apply this year. So if you don't put in your nonprofit EIN, if you have one, so maybe you have a different kind of business. It's not going to be your rental business and it's not going to be your nonprofit, but certainly you probably have another side hustle. Or if you are starting something or you have a kid who's starting something, I think that this would be a great way to get that going.
Yeah.
And of course, you can have a sole proprietorship. Keep that in mind too. I mean, setting up a sole proprietorship costs,
does it limit anything with, is it an S Corp? Because that's the same as sort of like a corporation, but it's a step up from the sole proprietor. So is it limiting to just sole proprietorships and LLCs, or can somebody with an S Corp put in for it?
Yeah, I think if you have an S election, it's fine. There was something up here that talked about it right here. If articles of incorporation for LLC, S Corp, or C Corp. So I think your C Corp is fine.
So yeah, so all three of those are in that box then. Nice.
All right. Well, that's what I have for this. I hope that you guys all apply for this, and I would love to find out if 150 people get approved or if you guys know somebody. So we're going to record off now, go live with the Normalized Money Project in school and talk about budgeting if you guys want to tune into that, or if you have a teenager, somebody just starting out in life as an adult or starting over in a recovery program, or maybe they're on fixed income. That's what that playlist is for. So jump into that here in a few minutes.
Yeah. Comment below. Even though this was live, we'd love to hear your comments. We will comment back. Have a great day.
Bye now.